More and more details are coming out on the Quest 3, and one of the nastiest rumors about it was people were thinking you would not be able to swap out the top head strap due to there being a USB port on one side and an aux port on the other. People were saying it looks like it's integrated into the strap and you're not going to be able to change this. Granted, the strap looked a little bit more comfortable than the Quest 2 strap as it has a split top strap, but still the nasty elastic design most of us don't prefer. The VP Metaverse Experience over at Meta, Jason Rubin, has now changed their Twitter profile picture to one that seems to clearly be showing a swappable Elite style strap on the Quest 3. Although the ports do look like they run through the straps, it looks like these straps will snap over those and each strap will just have to have a hole to accommodate a spot on either side for the USB port and for the aux port. Great news to those of us who use all kinds of aftermarket straps like I do, but still not the news some of us were hoping, as the strap looked very similar to the original head strap. People were speculating, would we be able to use Quest 2 accessories on the Quest 3? I believe that it may be possible with some of them, like the Bobo VR M2 Plus type that slide past that port and don't actually cover that port, but anything like a Kiwi Elite strap, you'd either have to drill a hole into it and to accommodate, and that's if it even snapped on and fit the new Quest 3. Either way, this excites me for third-party straps, and of course for those people who want to buy that Oculus Elite strap day one if they launch it alongside the headset, although there was issues with the original Elite straps in breaking, and I'm really hoping they used a different plastic compound here and we don't see those rolling forward on the Quest 3. Speaking of the Quest 3, the first ever Quest 3 giveaway has been spotted in the wild to celebrate Arashi Castles of Sin Final Cuts trailer that dropped during the Upload VR Summer Showcase. They're giving away 5 Quest 3s. For those of you who are interested, I'll leave a link down in the description in the comments to check out this giveaway. You can enter, and there's even daily ways to enter that you can continue to get more and more entries each day. There's less than a week left at this point, but there is already a lot of entries. At least there's 5 of them going out, but the chances are just getting lower and lower any of us are going to win them as more and more people find out about this. That said, if you do watch this each day, you can get some of those extra entries, and maybe someone out there in our community will have won one of these, and you can let me know, because I think that'd be really cool to find out and at least know someone who was one of the winners. How the Quest 3 is going to utilize its new depth sensor on the front panel has been a question for a lot of users looking forward to this device. Now, in some videos that have come out, it looks like we may be seeing video footage of how this will actually scan your room in real time around you. The videos that you're seeing here look like the videos when you're first initializing and setting up your Quest 2 that it shows you inside the headset, helping you demonstrate what to do to get the room set up. But it gives us a glimpse into how this might automatically see what's in the room around you, and actually looks really similar to when you're setting up a PSVR 2 and it is mapping around the room around you. And it's interesting in the PSVR 2 because you can see where sometimes you're having blind spots or dead spots where the headset can't really see any different points of contrast on the walls, and it can help remind you if you have a bare white wall, it might help to put up a poster or a painting or something that will give it more points of contrast. Now here we get to see that in action in what looks to be the Quest 3, and also more about how the Smart Guardian is going to warn you if something moves into your play space. This will be a big step up from the Quest 2 and even the Quest Pro, because currently if you want to do a mixed reality experience on the Quest 2 Pro, you have to map out where your walls are, where your furniture is, your desk, and then it will play games potentially on those surfaces, where this could sense them automatically, put them into the game, and save you all that time and setup. Keep in mind, this is leaked info and may not be a view of the final product, but Somalia, who found these, has had a good track record for finding things such as the first glimpse at the Quest Pro before. We've had a lot of details about the Apple Vision Pro come out since it was announced, but a newer detail that has been leaked or even speculated on that's causing some concern is that Apple Vision Pro had an initial sales target of 1 million units, and that is claimed to have been dropped down to 300,000 and now down to 150,000. This news made a splash as it came out on Twitter, and industry insiders were trying to confirm that this was actually true, that it had been from 1 million all the way down to 150,000. But even at 150,000, that would still be over $500 million for Apple if sold on this, and that's not including software or anything else. We've seen some media outlets jump to the assumption that this is because people don't want something like a headset, but there is something that's been confirmed that is important to keep in mind here. Sony actually makes the OLED panels that go into Apple Vision Pros, and because of the intricacy of these panels and how hard they are to produce, Sony can only make about 900,000 of them per year, and it takes 2 panels per headset. So even if they were able to produce at max capacity, that would only be 450,000, less than half that original million goal. As there's been a lot of debate about these numbers. It may be possible that 150,000 is just the launch goal, and that depending on supply and demand, they could push this up as high as 500,000 by next year, as long as Sony continue to produce enough panels. Whether you're excited, indifferent, or even skeptical about the Apple Vision Pro, there is no doubt that it has made a huge splash in the industry and in the tech world at whole. The video on YouTube introducing Apple Vision Pro from Apple is now the most watched public video on Apple's YouTube channel. The introducing Apple Watch Series 8 video had just under 50 million views, and the introducing Apple Vision Pro is already almost to 51 million views. That's a very short amount of time since this video came out, only 11 days ago at the time of this recording. With factors like YouTube disabling whether you can see how many dislikes are on a video, it is hard to say if this is necessarily just people interested in the headset that are getting this many views, as we even saw things like the Apple Watch and the AirPods were widely mocked before they were launched, and back then people were disliking some of these videos. Either way, people are talking about this headset, they're excited to check it out, and I think that's good news for the Apple Vision Pro. With Apple finally entering the VR space, this is good news, at least in the way of us having competition again. Facebook was able to pretty much monopolize the VR industry when they launched the Oculus Quest, with the Quest lineup selling over 20 million headsets, and the closest contender to that being the PSVR, because it was the lowest price option, selling over 5 million units before the Quest even came out. Media outlets are even pointing to this, talking about how this is good. That's actually maybe the best thing about the Apple Vision Pro, is that it's bringing big competition into the industry against a company like Meta. Sony still has a strong presence in the VR industry. Valve, of course, still has the Index, but there is no contender that can go up against a company like Meta quite like a company like Apple could, or if Google would finally enter VR with something better than the Daydream that we had years ago. A huge wing of the VR community is the flight sim community, with many people replacing their 3 or even 4 monitor rigs with one virtual reality headset for the most immersive flight simulator experience. This was huge when the last flight simulator came out and got virtual reality support, but now Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 has been announced, and sadly with no mention of VR yet. This doesn't seem to be a huge cause of concern in my eyes, because the last flight simulator didn't get VR support for about 4 months after it was released on traditional monitors. I remember it being something that was heavily debated and questioned in the approach of Flight Simulator, and very welcome news when it was announced it would have support. How many of you out there have ever tried Flight Simulator in VR? I'd love to know. It's definitely a very cool experience, as long as you fly in the areas that are more realistic looking. More and more news coming out, and of course more excitement as we start to get more details on the Quest 3, the Apple Vision Pro, and more about the future of VR. What are you excited about in VR at the moment? We got tons of games to cover in the gaming news section this week. We'll talk about those in that video, so watch out for that. Thank you once again for being here. We just hit 42,000 subscribers this morning, so thank you, and I'll see you in another reality.